The votes and proceedings of Monday, 9th March 2020, and approval is here granted. Mr. Clark, any message from the governor?
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable members, there is no message from Mr. Governor.
Any other announcements?
Mr. Speaker, sir, we received a correspondence from the Embassy of Finland. The embassy presents its compliments to the government of Lagos State, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and has the honor to inform of a study visit to Nigeria of a delegation of 9 parliamentarians from the Committee of Finance of the Parliament of Finland from 17th to 20th March 2020. The delegation will arrive Lagos on 17th March and move to Abuja on the 19th of March. The embassy kindly requests for a meeting for the delegation with Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, Speaker of the State House of Assembly, and members of relevant committees on Wednesday, 18th March 2020 at 10 a.m. The delegation would like to discuss the parliamentary work, finance, policy, and possibilities of interparliamentary cooperation with the Speaker of the House and relevant committees of the government of Lagos State. In preparation to this visit, the embassy, led by His Excellency Ambassador Drix Polkin, paid a courtesy visit to Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, Speaker of the State House of Assembly, on Tuesday, 3rd March 2020. The Embassy of Finland availed itself of this opportunity to renew to the government of Lagos State, Federal Republic of Nigeria, the assurances of its highest consideration. We also have a correspondence from Senator Oluremi Tinubu OON addressed to Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, the Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly, titled Conferment of Honorary Doctorate. It reads, sir, I'm pleased to notify you of the decision of the Senate of the Lagos State University LSHA to confer on me an honorary doctor of humane letters, in bracket, youth improvement, female education, youth empowerment, and girls back to school scheme at our 24th convocation. Thus, it is my privilege to invite you to the conferment ceremony, which is scheduled as follows. Date, Thursday, 26th March 2020, venue, University Auditorium, Lagos State University, Badagry Express Road, LASU, Ojo, Lagos, time 9 a.m. While looking forward to receiving you at the ceremony, please accept assurance of my highest regard. Sincerely signed, Senator Oluremi Tinubu OON. And lastly, we have a correspondence from Lagos State House of Assembly Service Commission addressed to Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, the Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly. It reads, so I kindly refer to our discussion on the need for the Commission members to pay your good self a courtesy visit. If you may recall, sir, 3 Commission members were recently appointed on Thursday, 23rd January 2020, and we deem it expedient to formally pay homage to you. Kindly avail us an auspicious date for the visit. While awaiting your response, please be assured of my highest regards for your esteemed person and office. Thank you, sir. Signed, Chief Wale Mogaji, Chairman, Lagos State House of Assembly Service Commission. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Petition?
None, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Reports? Business of the day. Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Business of the day. Presentation of report. Investigation of Cardiac and Renal Center, Lagos State University Teaching Annex, Gbagada, by Honorable Sokunle, representing Oshodi, Isolo, Chairman, Committee on Health Services. To take this report, sir, may I move that this House resolve to Committee of the Whole.
Honorable Makinde.
I rise to support the motion as well.
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Sokunle.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, fellow colleagues. This is the report of ad hoc committee on health service on the investigation of cardiac and renal centers, Lagos State University Teaching Hospitals, Annex, Gbagada, Lagos. Preambles. Let me crave the indulgence of Mr. Speaker. Maybe I should move to page.
Please take that again.
I want to move to page 2.
Okay.
From number 4, visit to cardiac and renal center, Gbagada. Honorable Sokunle, the chairman, ad hoc committee on health service, informed the gathering that the whole essence of the visit to the cardiac and renal center was to find a lasting solution to the functionality problem occasioned by the center for some years ago, and not an exercise to which anyone whatsoever. He also mentioned that subsequent meeting will be held at Assembly Complex with stakeholders such as Dio Project Limited, associated with the construction and installation of biomedical equipment of the center, Ministry of Justice that perfected the contractual agreement, Ministry of Works and Infrastructure that certified stages of building construction, as well as Ministry of Health that awarded the contract. Attendance, that's number 5. Dr. Adeleke Kaka, Dr. Bakari, Ms. Ojo, Mrs. Bawala, Mr. Olotu, Dr. Duati, Dr. Fafumi, and Mr. Adeniji Adeleye. The committee was therefore taken around the center of the official.
Sorry, is your mic not working?
Not
It's working. Make use of it.
The committee thereafter taken around the center by the official of Gbagada General Hospital in order to gain more comprehensive awareness. In order to gain more comprehensive awareness of the current situation of the center, while the following units were visited. 1, the UPS room, dialysis unit. 3, CT scan unit. 4, where do you want this? It's not working, it's not working. Hello? 5, critical care unit. 6, theater 1 and 2. 7, recovery room. 8, intensive care unit. 9, laboratories. 10, autoclave room. 11, cardiac catheterization. 12, heart and lung machine room. And 13, offices for the personnel, etc. At the center, the committee observed the appealing state of the biomedical equipment installed due to power problem and the extent of structural defects of the center, which are the major factor attributed to failure of the center. Meeting with the stakeholders, number 6. In a bid to carry out investigation on the matter of committee, requested all the entities involved in the construction and equipping of the facilities to appear before the committee on Wednesday, 7th August 2019 at Latif Jakondi Auditorium, Assembly Complex. We have the invited stakeholders. Submission. Dr. Walter Olatunde, Project Director, Dio Project Limited, informed the committee that the Cardiac and Renal Center, CRO, is located in Gbagada. It's located in Gbagada General Hospital, Lagos State. It is a superb healthcare infrastructure designed to provide specialist care for critical ill cardiac and renal patients. He added that the center comprises of a cath lab, CT scan, and intensive care unit, 24-bed integrated dialysis center, consultation and procedure rooms, 2 operating theaters, and so on. Adding that the company, Dio Project Limited, is an indigenous company providing services across the engineering, procurement, and construction with successful track record with Lagos State government since the past 20 years. The project director also informed further that the Dio project has been in partnership with Lagos State government in the construction of facilities such as Maternal Child Center, MCC, the upgrading of existing hospital facilities, construction of massive edifices, as well as infrastructural development for the state through several administrations. He stated that the letter of award in respect of the Cardiac and Renal Center was issued to the company on the 22nd September 2008 by Lagos State Government Tender Board, see Annex 1, while the construction and installation of biomedical equipment were completed in 2013, after which a certificate of practical completion was issued to the company by Ministry of Works and Infrastructure for the defect liability period in 1st August 2013. Dr. Walter Olatude informed the committee that the latest biomedical equipment, which were in line with the specification given by the Ministry of Health and Lagos State Teaching Hospitals, were purchased directly from manufacturers such as Siemens, GE Company, etc., and were installed at center, knowing strictly that Lagos State government is always stringent about good quality. The project director further claimed that the equipment were test-run at the presence of the official of Ministry of Health, and all were absolutely functional prior to handing over of the facility to the Ministry of Health. Shortly after the handing over of the center, the state government further changed its plan to give out the center to a concessionaire for effective administration. In the process of 2 years, while the concession agreement was in progress, the installed equipment, which are sophisticated and sensitive in nature, were not used and kept under required range of temperature as prescribed by the manufacturer, thereby resulting to some snags which the project claimed to have rectified. He emphasized further that the State Ministry of Health should have invited a service provider with higher level of expertise to maintain the center during the period. However, he lamented that the company had spent huge amount of money in the past to address the snag list it identified and could not take further responsibility to address any damage at the center henceforth. Professor Babatude Green, former Chief Executive Officer, Cardiac and Renal Center, Gbagada, provided detailed overview of the current status of the facility. He informed the committee that the condition precedent in the concession agreement required the center to be delivered ready by due project with all equipment fully installed and operational before handing over to a concessionaire. He mentioned that at the inception of the center by Renal, several snags were identified and compiled, which were detailing over 100 issues ranging from electrical inadequacy to malfunctioning of equipment such as CT scan, cath lab, and obsolete laboratory items, dysfunctional laminar flow, theater air conditioning, lack of ventilation in the elevator installed, installation of 2 number of 500 kVA generator instead of recommended 1000 kVA. He also informed that Renal has worked so hard and ceaselessly over several months to correct many of the inadequacies, and that the Renal had spent over 600 million naira in correcting many issues on the snag list, including remuneration of medical, technical, and administrative personnel. Dr. Samba Oluwole, representative of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, informed the committee that the Cardiac and Renal Center project was awarded to due project on the 22nd September 2008 as an Annex 1, and the project was completed in 2013, while certificate of completion was issued to Bro project in 2013, adding that the center was later shut down for a period of 2 years while arrangement was in progress to give the center out to an appropriate concessionaire for proper management towards sustainable healthcare service delivery to the people. She further informed that Renal took over the management of the facility in 2015, but could not operate in full capacity as a result of several snags identified. Though Project Limited was called upon to rectify the snags, but the snags were partially addressed in the neighborhood of 20%, not in totality as recommended by Ministry of Health, thereby creating impediment for the operation of the center, which further led to the closure of the facility by Renal in 2016, adding that the sum of 300 million naira was approved and paid by past administration of Mr. Akim Yambodi in 2018, being part payment paid to Renal, being money spent in addressing many issues on the snag list and other administrative expenses, while the balance is still awaiting governor's approval. Mrs. Kehinde Taiwo, Director of Commercial Law, Ministry of Justice, gave detail of role of the Ministry in terms of agreement reached with the stakeholder involved in the construction, installation of equipment, and concession of the ultramodern cardiac and renal center. She informed the meeting that the Ministry of Health, by way of seeking to provide first-class end-stage renal disease (ESRD) and cardiology health care to the residents of Lagos State, proposed for the construction of cardiac and renal center at Lagos State University Teaching Hospital Annex, Gbagada General Hospital, adding that the contract was awarded to Duo Project Limited in September 2008. She informed that the Ministry of Justice prepared the agreement and same was forwarded to Ministry of Health on the 12th January. On the 12th January, how do you on this? She informed that the Ministry of Justice prepared the agreement and same was forwarded to Ministry of Health on the 12th January 2009 for execution by both parties. While 12th of January 2009 for execution by both parties, while there was no request from the Ministry of Health for review of the agreement at any point. She also mentioned that the Ministry of Justice received another correspondence from Ministry of Health dated 23rd February 2009, LSHA 2, for the award of contracts to Duo Project Limited for the supply and installation of medical equipment and furniture, adding that the agreement was also prepared as requested and was subsequently forwarded for execution by the client ministry and the contractor, while there was no issue raised by the client ministry in respect of the agreement, and no correspondence was sent to the Ministry of Justice in respect of the project. Upon completion and installation of the center, the Ministry of Health invited interested bidders for the operation and management of CRC. At the end of the exercise, Renal Limited succeeded to execute the operation and management of the center. The Ministry of Justice, in the same vein, prepared the agreement between Renal and Lagos State government for concession period of 5 years, and the agreement was signed between the parties in June 2014 accordingly. See Annex 345. Engineer Olujimi Otonu, the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Works Infrastructure, informed the meeting that during the construction process of this center, the ministry carried out routine supervisory role on the project at every stage of development to ensure adequate compliance with the specification of the project awarded to the contractor. He also informed the committee that the project was awarded in 2008 and completed in 2013, while the ministry issued certificate of completion to Duo Project Limited in lieu of final certificate of completion to be issued after all identified defects are adequately addressed. He further informed that the ministry visited the center in 2017, consequent upon series of complaints over inadequacy of power supply at the center, and reported back to the former governor of the state, Mr. Akim Yambodi, while arrangement was said to be in progress to call on Lagos State Electricity Board to overhaul the electrification system of the center. At the next meeting with Dr. Billy Olamilekan, on Monday, 6th January 2020, the committee held an unscheduled meeting with Dr. Billy Olamilekan, a consultant cardiologist at the Otto von Guericke University Teaching Hospital, Magdeburg, Germany. We have Honorable Sokunle, Honorable Yusuf, Kazim Elliott, Honorable Fini, Mr. Motayo, Mr. Adigbe.
Why don't you go to Dr. Billy's street?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dr. Billy thanked the committee for his initiative in moving the health sector of the state forward and informed the meeting on the existing free training partnership between the Lagos State Government and Otto von Guericke University since 2006, which was initiated by the former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He mentioned further that in 2006, some delegations from the Otto von Guericke University Teaching Hospital, Marburg, Germany, visited Lagos State and signed memorandum of understanding with Lagos State Government, Mr. Babatundé Fasola, for the free routine training of medical practitioners from Lagos State Service at the Otto von Guericke University Teaching Hospital, Marburg, adding that the institution had trained 65 Lagos physicians and several nurses from grade level 10 to 17 based on their different field of specialization between 2008 and 2015 without any cost borne by the state. He also informed that the institution is embedded with 30 clinical departments and 17 institutes in which the former governor, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola, subscribed to the idea of establishing the Cardiac and Renal Center in Lagos to be a replica of the Otto von Guericke University Teaching Hospital. At the meeting, Dr. Billy Olamilekon expressed displeasure on the current state of the Cardiac and Renal Center and informed the committee of the readiness of Otto von Guericke University Teaching Hospital to sign an MOU on public-private partnership arrangement with Lagos State Government, thus taking over the management of the center at no cost from Lagos State. He also assured of the willingness of the institution to address the snagging problem associated with the center in totality and also open up the facility as a center for free training of medical personnel in Lagos State Service, which will further save the state fund spent on overseas training for the medical personnel. 7, observation. Based on the submission and on the spot assessment of the committee, the following are the findings of the committee that 1, the Lagos State Ultramodern Cardiac and Renal Center, which was built to provide specialist healthcare service to many Nigerians and to also help stem the rising medical tourism associated with cardiac and renal treatment, was seen locked up by the committee since the past 3 years due to the negligence on the part of Duo Project Limited, who failed to restore back the identified snag holistically at the center. While the equipment installed were seen becoming moribund, structural defects were also noticed by the committee, and we have also taken over the surrounding of the center. 2, the committee was briefed by the official of the Ministry of Health that the contractor only addressed few snags in the neighborhood of 20% in the least, leaving larger segment untouched when called upon to address issues bordering on snags, which further attributed to the poor performance and the failure of the center to deliver as expected. 3, the project director, Duo Project Limited, emphasized at the meeting that the company will not entertain further responsibility in addressing any snag list at the center, henceforth, considering the huge amount spent in the past for rectification of snag by the company. Recommendation. Based on the aforementioned findings, the committee wished to recommend that 1, the present Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, should look for every possible means to salvage the ultramodern cardiac and renal center from further decay by engaging partnership with Otto von Guericke University Teaching Hospital, Marburg, Germany, who has requisite knowledge in the treatment of cardiac and renal ailments, and as well willing to take over the Center for Effective Administration towards Sustainable Healthcare Service Delivery, and who also use the center as a facility for training of medical personnel in Lagos State, which will further stem down billions of money appropriated by the state for training of medical personnel on yearly basis. 2, the Lagos State government should delist the company, Duo Project Limited, from being one of the contractors in Lagos State in view of the negligence and high level of inefficiency demonstrated by the company in the course of executing the multi-billion naira project awarded by the state, while the retention fee due to the company on the project be held by State Treasury Office, STO. 3, that Lagos State do carry out review of the 5% retention fee to 10%, constraining the unprofessional conduct by some of the contractors in Lagos State. And 4, that Lagos State government, under the leadership of Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, to provide the official visits of some members, to approve the official visits of some members of the executive and legislative arms to Otto von Guericke University Teaching Hospital, Medenburg, Germany, with a view to carrying out assessment of cardiac and renal units as well as workings of the teaching hospital to ascertain the capability of the institution to carry out effective management of the cardiac and renal center, Gbagada. Appreciation. The committee expresses gratitude to the Right Honorable Speaker and member for the opportunity given to carry out this assignment. Appreciation also go to the clerk of the House and Secretariat who contributed to the successful completion of the report. Thank you, Honorable Sokunle.
Sorry, you are from which constituency? Honorable Sokunle.
From Oshodi, constituency 1.
I was wondering the way you are handling the microphones, like a Fuji from Oshodi. So, don't worry, there's no problem. I can understand your predicaments. Honorable Tobo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to move that the report as presented by Honorable Sokunle be adopted for debate.
Honorable Olumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to second the motion.
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Your Honorable
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleagues, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the committee for a thorough job done. The report is very apt because we cannot continue to lose money, probably due to the inefficiency of contractors or lackadaisical attitude of the staff who are saddled with the responsibility of overseeing. Mr. Speaker, when I look at the report, we cannot just condemn the contractor alone because the project is in two folds. There is one that has to do with construction. The other aspect has to do with supply of medical equipment. And we learned through the report as well that even there are a lot of snags that even affected the construction work. So who are the supervisors? If they've been supervising from one step to another, then can we be talking about defects in the project? It was awarded in 2013 and they finished in 2018, 5 years. So nobody could identify that from the Ministry of Works. And as if that wasn't enough, they issued a certificate of completion for a job that has not been completed. So we must ask the question, who gave that certificate of completion and on what basis? Then the second leg of it, sir, has to do with Ministry of Health. We have not seen in any part of the report where the Ministry of Health certified that the equipment they brought were okay and met the requirements. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, it took them 2 years to now get a concessionaire. Within that 2 years, have they not tested those equipment? It was that concessionaire that now realized that bulk of the equipment are snags. So who paid them the money? We need to ask from the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Works, and Ministry of Health. They should be sanctioned. Then finally, sir, in the report they talked about retention and they need to move their retention from 5 to 10. Yes, they can move it from 5 to 10. But going by our experience when it comes to contractors in Lagos State, is the APG still alive? So that even the money that the man has collected can be used so that we can retrieve some of the money. Then the amount we are talking about, when we juxtapose the two, is it in the same measure? Because probably somebody who has a lot of snags and the project is to probably refund about billions of naira. We are now talking about 5% APG. Is that what we are looking at, or we critically look into what the cost of resolving that problem, then look at what the 5% is talking about, and we sit down with them, Jojo, whether we can still retrieve more money from the contractor. And finally, sir, you had a good observation. The chairman of the committee, I think, is so much interested in going to Germany with the concurrence of Mr. Speaker, because the reason is this. When we talk about that Germany renal and cardiac hospital, they said we want to have the same prototype in Lagos State. Have they not visited Germany to check what they are using there, the requirements, whether it's light requirements, power requirements, to look at the space and other things? Is it after they have messed up that they are now interested in going to Germany? Which one will go before another? Which one? So I reason maybe from their visiting there, they can learn one or two things. But the fact remains that a lot of questions are begging for answer. They've been to Germany, they've seen it. We are going to have partnership with that medical center, and we didn't replicate the same thing there to understand that we have snags that is running to billions of naira. Mr. Speaker, my colleague, I think a lot of people need to be called, and many questions need to be answered. Good afternoon.
Honorable Togo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I want to commend the committee for doing a good job. But I have some observations that we must look at properly. Like where the contractor were asked to supply 1,000 kVA generator, and the contractor supply 500 kVA. That is short of expectations. Money to that regard must be returned. That is my own view. Then the chairman said, apart from the inadequacy of the DOE company, there were defects in structure. Who constructed that structure? Was it done by DOE or by another contractor entirely? We need to be informed. Then there is another issue that I observed, where it was recommended that the contractor be delisted. I feel we should go in line with the financial memorandum, where apart from being delisted, must be blacklisted and recommended to EFCC for appropriate actions to be able to recover the money in their covers. Because if contractor collects money and we're able to skip away, only waiting for the retention, that will not be too fair. Because it was recommended by the ministry that the contractor should go back and fix the snag. But he was able to do only 20%. When it was clear that we have not started using the project, using the equipment, I feel is an aberration. And this must be captured in the report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Victor Akwande.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Why I commend the committee for a work well done, I want to corroborate what Honorable Lowo and Honorable Tobun has said. From the report, I have not been able to see where the committee demanded for the contract of agreement, the agreement of the contract, to be able to know what the contract actually says. Why I said this is because we have to start rising up to the occasion. We're in a situation where we have to put in the contract, in the case where we are dealing with delicate equipment, the wear and tear should be involved in that contract. If not, we will not be having snags, and the contractors will be saying that they cannot complete the 100% when actually the certificate of completion has been issued to them. So, and again, we needed expert advice on this issue. And that is the place of the German company. So in all this, we need to see the contract and know what the contract says. And again, start putting wear and tear, duration of wear and tear in our contract. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Satoji.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I appreciate. I want to thank the chairman of this committee for a job well done. But I also noticed that they visited Germany during the course of the of this report, because based on what is on paragraph, on the meeting with the Dr. Billy Olabinleko, it's like they had a jamboree. But my concern is just about this company called Do Project Limited. This company has done more havoc to this state than any other. There are so many projects that this company has handled, and I want to say that many of them are either abandoned or have issues like this. A state of over 24 million people, we cannot boast of a renal center owned by the state government. And the government has spent a lot of money to have one, and this company has actually frustrated it. I want to go by what Honorable Tobo said, that they should be recommended for EFCC, because this company has not done us any good. And based on what I have here, they are even saying that they are not ready to do anything again, whereas the snares that were identified were not treated. I think I want to, to say categorically that DOE should be investigated more. On recommendation number 4, that is the visit to Germany by the member of the ESCO and the honorables. I think this is just like waste of fund, because they are not experts. I see it as a kind of jamboree. What we have is a serious challenge, because there are so many people suffering from renal issues in Lagos, and they don't have anywhere to go. So the government should do something about it, but I want to advise or suggest that this area of the governor, recommending that some people should visit Germany, they are not experts in that area, except you want to go.
You don't have to be an expert before you carry out an investigation.
Thank you, sir.
You don't have to be an expert.
But in this particular instance, okay, I agree with you, my right honorable speaker. But the major issue that I also want to talk about is the generator. The 1,000 kV generator was specifically recommended for a purpose, but the company went ahead to provide 500 kVA, and that will not allow the center to function as expected. And I believe, based on this, my own little contribution. Thank you.
Honorable Shao, lastly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For me, this project is one of the many projects that has dotted our health sector and other major sectors within the state. What I see lack in this project is there's no end-to-end management. Somebody builds, somebody supplies, before you are even looking for somebody to run this project. And mostly what most likely to have happened is that I think the German company probably came up with this idea, and in between, somebody got the contract to do it without the appropriate expertise to finish it. So we are stuck in between. As a matter of fact, the work the committee has done is very good, very deep. However, I believe the element of the state who allowed this to occur should also be brought into this report. Because somebody, before you even get into retention, somebody must have signed off that building. before you start chasing them around for the equipment not working? How do you supply equipment that are not installed and tested immediately? So that end-to-end was not there. So I would recommend that, in addition to the recommendations that have already been made, another leg should be put that officers of a state that are involved, I don't know if that had been investigated already, but if it had not been investigated, it should be investigated, and appropriate sanctions should also be met out to such people. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for your contributions. And I also commend the chairman and his team for a job well done, because they've really done a well investigated exercise. But the question is, the job to me in this report has not been finished. As rightly noted by Honorable Ishao, there are a lot of people there that are supposed to be named in this report that you have not said anything about. From the delivery up to the end of installation and everything. You know, the information is missing. It's like jumping from the beginning to the end without, you know, the body. So we have to know those who received the equipment, those who did the sign-off, and those who released the payment. At least there must be an officer in the process who must have signed or who is responsible for all this. Fine, I agree with you that though might not have done a good job, but who receive it from those? So the fault to me is not about those, but it's for the officials who are responsible for the supervision of this project. So I'm taking this as incomplete, report. So we just have to take it back and do the necessary job on it. And we can see as part of the recommendation so that we'll save that center from further deterioration. You can get in touch with the commissioner, so you raise the issue of Mr. Dr. Billy Olamilekon so that we can continue with that kind of agreement signed during the tenure of Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So we can save that center and we can continue to enjoy those benefits of free training and support, including the management of that center, while you continue with the other leg of the reports. Is that okay? Yeah, thank you. So, who is Honorable?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In view of the Speaker's observation, I hereby move that the report of the committee as amended.
No, that the report be stepped down.
Okay, the report should be stepped down. Part of the report should be stepped down while the investigation continues to bring in more personnel that were involved in the negotiation and delivery of those equipments. I so move.
Thank you. Honorable Victor Akondi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the motion as well.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Fellow colleagues. After much discussion, I want to move that the committee resolve back to plenary.
Who is seconded? The House. Honorable Tokwe.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, fellow colleagues. At the committee of the whole, we discussed about that the governor should salvage the cardiac and renal from further decaying. That the Lagos State government should delist Deals Project Limited from being a contractor in Lagos State. That the Lagos State should review retention fee from 5% to 10%, considering the unprofessional conduct of some contractors. That the governor should approve the official visit of executive and legislative chairmen. After much discussion, the Speaker directed that this report be stepped down for another day for further committee work to be done on the report. Yeah, that was the recap of the committee of the whole.
Thank you. Honorable Tobon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to affirm that was the true recap of what transpired at the committee of the whole.
Who has lights? Honorable Makinde.
I rise to affirm the, I rise to support the affirmation, please.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Yeah, Deputy Majority Leader, adjournment. Approach.
I have the approval of the Right Honourable Speaker that this House adjourn till 16th, Monday, 16th of March 2020. I so move. At 12 noon.
Honorable Nuredi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
Yeah, before the question is put, there will be a short meeting immediately after sitting. All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. This House stands adjourned till Monday, 16 March at 12 noon 2020. I rise.